Okay. Good morning to, I guess we're just AC yoga this morning, Amy and occasional cats. So welcome this morning. We're going to start in a seated position. So cross-legged, half lotus is always an option, full lotus. But find your sits bones. Any option with your arms, you can take that more grounded position, your hands on top of your thighs, turning your palms up, more of a receiving position. Let's just close our eyes and just allow these next several breaths to energetically come into the space. Finding your place on your mat. And even with your eyes closed, just sensing the space around you. So in our yoga practice, I always like to begin with a grounding position and then begin to open up all of our senses. So noticing the sound of my voice, maybe the grandfather clock, a heater in your room, just taking in those sounds. And then that internal vision, closing out the seeing eyes, which is so much sensory overload, but going inside, slowing down, tasting within your mouth. And then noticing the air, the nostrils, the inhalation and the exhalation. And then finally, touch, noticing your bottom as it connects with the floor, the touch of your clothing on your body, the air on your skin, noticing if it's cooler or warmer. So just taking in those senses. And then inviting your prayer to your heart center, bow your forehead to the tips of your fingers, and setting a mantra, a dedication for your practice, perhaps an intention. And then we'll slowly begin to open up our eyes and releasing your hands to the top of your thighs. Let's draw our chin towards our chest and our right ear towards our right shoulder. We'll draw that chin back towards center, towards our chest. And then we'll take our left ear towards that left shoulder. Then very gently opening up the throat as you take your eyes up towards the sky or keeping them soft or closed. And then we'll follow that revolution. So take your time, 2 or 3 revolutions, just rinsing out the sleep. Nice, and then we'll change direction. Nice, finish that last revolution. When we'll bring our head back to center. And we're going to start with some inner thigh work this morning. So we may have done this with me before, I'm not quite sure, but we're going to do 25 frogs. And so we start coming on the balls of our feet, and you come onto the finger pads, and you're going to lift your body up, your heels to the floor, and on the exhale, you bend your knees. So you breathe in, and then breathe out. So you find that breath. Your heels come to the floor, your knees out to the side. So warming up those inner thighs, as well as connecting with our core. We have 15 more here. Our toes are spread wide. Find that breath. Beautiful, last 10. Last 6, 5, 4, keep going, 3, 2, On one, find parallel feet, slight bend in those knees, nice work. Reach for opposite elbows and just pour the crown of the head towards the floor. And shake out that head. And we'll release our hands on the mat and just find like your finger painting on the floor, making wide circles or arches, opening up that side body. The head is nice and loose. And then we'll pause here and we'll interlace our hands behind the back body. So notice which thumb is on top. Beautiful. Find that full inhale. On an exhale, slight bend to the knees, opening up those shoulders by drawing your hands away from the back body. So shake out that head again. We'll take a bend in that left knee. Bring your chin towards that left shin. Then we bend the opposite knee, drawing the chin to the other shin, towards the ankle, crown of the head towards the top of the foot. We come back to center, we find that halfway lift. Nice, opposite thumb on top, draw that navel in. And again, one more forward fold. So opening up those shoulders again, draw your hands as far away from the body till you find that resistance. Shake out that head. And again, we'll take a bend in that left knee, warming up our hamstrings here. And a slight bend in the opposite knee. Nice, and we'll come back to neutral. This time, release your hands to the floor. We'll step back into our downward dog. So we'll pedal out those feet, warming up our shins. Swallow. And then begin to find that stillness in your downward dog. So we draw that earth energy up through our palms and through our feet. Imagine it reaching up through your palm, from your palms, up through the arms, past the elbows, all the way out through those sits bones. Same thing with your feet. That energy draws up through the legs, past the knees, through the thighs. So all of lifting up that energy, more buoyant. We'll take one more breath here. And on an exhale, keep your hands where they are. We'll walk our feet towards the heel of our hands. We find that halfway lift. Forward fold, Uttanasana. 3 more like that. We breathe in, hands can rest on the shins. We open up our collarbones. Soften the knees on the exhalation, crown of the head towards the floor. Last 2. Fold in on the exhale. Last full breath in here. Exhale, crown of the head towards the floor. Inhale, ride that breath all the way up. We cactus our hands. Our heart is lifted. Shake out that head. Breathe in. And forward fold, Uttanasana. Beautiful. We find that halfway lift and step back into our high plank. So make sure you have a wide stance with your feet, about hips distance apart. Fingers spread wide, our shoulders over those wrist creases. Now everyone lift that back body. Engage all the muscles. Finding that breath. So we're going to alternate shoulder taps. 8. So just try not to move your body. Tapping opposite shoulder. 7, 8. Lift those sits bones. Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Shake out that head. On an inhale, we find our way back to high plank. Now we're going to alternate just lifting our toes off the mat. So lift those toes 2 to 3 inches, then opposite foot. Again, keeping a tall spine. Breathing. 4 more. So our toes lift, just alternating, lifting them. Last one, 7 here. 8, Downward dog, eyes towards the back of the mat. Finding that breath. Good morning, Ringo. And on an inhale, we find that high plank again. 5 counts to lower to the mat. Our heart is lifted. Always that option to drop your knees to the floor. So the elbows hug in, take your time. 3, 2, on 1. We untuck our toes. We find that baby cobra. Tops of the feet are rooted. We hug those elbows in. Crown of the head towards the floor on the exhale. So we breathe in and breathe out. Stay here, or maybe explore taking your hands off the mat for a little higher baby cobra. Crown of the head towards the floor. So we take one more, we breathe in and we breathe out. Hands in line with your chest, tuck those toes under. We find that high plank. Beautiful downward dog on the exhalation. That right leg lifts. Let's step it forward into that low lunge. Untuck the toes, melt through those hips. We'll take our hands on top of the thighs, open up those collarbones, and find a little deeper bend in that left hip flexor. So we'll inhale the arms up overhead. I'm dropping that right hand to the floor. You can rest it on a brick. Just take that left hand up and over, softening through those gripping toes. Eyes soft. Our breath is steady. Inhale that right hand high. Beautiful. We'll lower the left hand now and take a deep bend up and over, fanning those right ribs. One more breath in. Finish that exhalation. We inhale that left hand high. Nice. Now take your hands outside the front foot. Draw the hips back. Flex those right toes. So beautiful long spine. We'll take a breath in here. On an exhale, just bringing that chin towards that right shin. Full breath in. Navel is engaged. Exhale. We fold. 2 more. Moving with your breath. Exhale, we soften as we lower. We take one more inhale. Exhale, release. Take a deep bend in that right knee. We tuck those left toes under. Step into your high plank. Pause here to low plank. Our cobra, maybe an upward dog. Downward dog. Exhale, eyes towards the back of the mat. Our left leg lifts. We find that low lunge. Right knee on the earth. Just bend and breathe for a few breaths. And we'll take those hands on that left thigh. So nice tall spine. And we'll extend those arms up overhead. So taking that left hand to a brick to the floor, we fan those right ribs open. Spreading those left toes. Enjoying that breath. And please lift that left hand. We'll take the opposite hand towards the brick or to the floor. Fan those ribs open. Opening up those intercostal muscles, the muscles between those ribs. We take one more breath in. Finish that exhalation, then inhale that right hand up. Now we lower them outside, the hands outside the front foot, draw the hips back. So our hip is over that knee, flex the left foot. And again, you're lengthening through the spine. So we're gonna find our breath here, find that full inhale. On an exhale, bend through those elbows, draw the chin towards that shin. Inhale, we lift that back body, engage that core, fold in on the exhale. 2 more, we breathe in and we breathe out. Last inhale, navel is engaged. We fold as those elbows bend out to the sides. Then we find that deep bend in the left knee, right toes tuck under, step back into high plank, hold it here for a moment. Then cycle through your vinyasa, high to low. A cobra, upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Slight bend in those knees, activating those heels. Shake out that head again. Please lift that right leg high. We step it forward, finding our warrior one. Coming all the way up. Beautiful. Then we'll open into warrior two. Let's reverse our warrior on the inhalation. Then hands to the mat. Your vinyasa or just meet in downward dog. High to low. A cobra or up dog. Beautiful. Downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Left leg lifts. We find our warrior one. So take your time. We ride that breath up. We blossom open on warrior two. Reverse on the inhalation. And then hands to the mat. Your vinyasa. Again, extra push-ups. Maybe you're exploring that three-legged downward dog. You're in charge of you. Make it a safe practice. But play your edge. Honoring this time that you gave yourself. Beautiful. Take one more breath here. We exhale the air completely. Bend the knees. Walk, maybe jump to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Fold forward. And then ride that breath all the way up. Take your time. We cactus our hands. We lift our hearts and melt forward. Uttanasana. We find that halfway lift. Beautiful. Step or jump those feet back. High to low plank. A cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe. That right leg lifts. Same sequence. Warrior one. Ride that breath all the way up. We open into warrior two. Reverse the flow on the inhale. And then your vinyasa. Hands to the mat. High to low. Cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe. Left leg lifts. Warrior one. Firm foundation. We use our breath to come all the way up to standing. Then we open into warrior two. Beautiful. Reverse that flow. And then hands to the mat. High to low. Cobra or up dog. Beautiful. Downward dog. We pause and breathe. Shake out that head. Steady breathing. Activating those heels to the floor. Let's lift that right leg high. And find that high lunge, but hands outside that front foot. Actually, it's a low lunge. Now we're going to inhale into that easy twist. Keep tracking that right knee forward and that left heel towards the back of the space. So really engage the back of the leg. Our fingers are spread wide. Full inhale here. On an exhale, the hand comes between the leg and the arm. You're looking towards the outer edge of your mat. So we inhale and then draw that hand down on the exhale. 3 more. Breath in. Exhale. Last 2. Beautiful. Take that hand between the elbow and the knee. Last one. We breathe in. And just draw that hand back down and take that easy twist again. Fingers spread wide. We're rooting through our feet, engaging that core to come all the way up. Nice. We find that scissor action in our thighs. Open up the collarbone. Beautiful. So track that right knee over the right ankle. Now we'll reverse our warrior. That left hand reaches high. Find that breath. One more inhale. You guys, fabulous. Now hands to the mat. Right leg back. High to low. Cobra or up dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe, eyes towards the back of the mat. Our left leg lifts. We find that low lunge, back leg is off the mat. So track that left knee over the left ankle. Reach through that right heel. Again, engage the back of the thigh. We find that easy twist. The left hand reaches up. Our fingers are spread wide. Finding that breath, finding that stability. So we'll take that hand and just slide it between the arm and the leg. Hand towards the side of your mat. We inhale, exhale, lower. 3 more. We breathe in, breathe out. Ujjayi breath, victorious breath. Inhale, exhale. Last one, we breathe in and we breathe out. So taking the hand back up towards the sky, we find that foundation with the feet. On an inhale, we come all the way up to a standing position. So notice if you're leaning forward, you want to find that tall spine, left knee over left ankle. We open up the collarbones, lines of energy out through the fingertips. Now reverse your warrior. The back hand can rest on your right thigh. The right hand reaches up and over. One more full breath in. On an exhale, hands to the mat. Left leg back. High to low. Cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. And pause and breathe. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Steady breathing. Shake out that head and walk those toes into that central line. We'll extend that right leg high. Take the right knee outside the right elbow. We pause and extend. Inhale that knee to our nose and we lengthen. Now we take the knee outside that left elbow, pause, then take the knee to the right, to the left, to the right, left, and then kick it out to our falling star. So weight into the right hand. We lift our hips and peel that left hand open. So lift everything, let go of tension in the head or neck. You're finding the support of your feet, your hips are lifted, you're expanding that heart, and then slowly take that left hand to the floor. We'll lift that right leg up towards the sky, lower it down, cycle through your vinyasa. So you can stay in downward dog or warming up that body. And we'll all meet in downward dog before we take the other side. So that on the inhalation, you extend that left leg high. Exhale, draw the knee to the elbow. Maybe it connects. Beautiful, then we extend. Inhale that knee to your nose. Round that back body and extend, point through those toes. Now we take the knee outside the right elbow, maybe it connects, and we just tick-tock it to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, where we kick out that leg. Finding falling star, weight into that left hand. We peel that right arm up towards the sky. Now lift those hips, open up the heart, find that breath here. Using the feet, everyone lift another inch. And we'll watch that right hand as it comes to the mat. We extend that left leg up towards the sky. Release it to the mat. Stay here in your downward dog or cycle through your vinyasa, high to low, cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog, pause and breathe. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Steady breathing. Take one more inhale. We'll exhale the air completely. Bend the knees, step, jump, maybe hop to the top. We find that halfway lift. Fold forward. Find that chair pose as we extend our arms up towards the sky. So drawing our hands in line with our ears. Tuck your tail under, and we'll bring our prayer to our heart. Beautiful, a full inhale. Let's twist to the right, take that elbow outside the right knee. We stack those elbows. See if you can find all 10 toes. Our knees are in one plane. So we're gonna open up on our inhale and then just close on our exhale. We're breathing in and exhale, taking that prayer back. 2 more, expanding and softening. 1 more on this side, we expand. We bring our prayer in and find our chair again. Arms extend. Before we go to the other side, let's take a breath in here. Exhale your hands behind you as you lift your heels. Squeeze those knees. Beautiful. We drop our heels and lift our hearts. Take your hands behind you. Squeeze those inner thighs. Find those Barbie feet. Beautiful. Then we drop our heels. 2 more. Inhale. We ride that breath. Exhale, squeeze. Play that edge. If you fall out, got 1 more to do. We take a full breath in. Exhale, hands behind you. Lift those heels, squeeze those knees in. Drop your hands and find that chair. So we'll bring our prayer to our heart. I feel it in my thighs. I hope you do too. So lift that heart and take the right elbow outside the left knee. So we spin from our lower abs. Let's everyone take a quick peek at our toes. Notice if one knee is in front of the other, you have them in the same plane. And again, we're gonna open up our heart on the inhale. We draw that prayer back to center on the exhale. We breathe in, we expand, we soften and let go. 2 more. Maybe the bottom hand reaches towards the floor. Draw that prayer in. 1 more inhale. Hands to our heart. We come back through that chair pose 1 more time. And then hands to heart center as we fold. Shake out the head. Find that halfway lift. Step or jump those feet back, high to low. Cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. We pause and breathe. Eyes towards the back of the mat. Just taking a few breaths here. Slowing down that inhalation and exhalation. Take a final full in breath. We let it go. Bend those knees, step, hop, or just walk to the top of the mat. We find that halfway lift. Fold forward and find that chair pose again. Arms reach up high. So we bring our prayer to our heart and we'll take that bend again, that left elbow outside the right knee. We spin our eyes towards the floor. So finding our balance this morning, we just lift that bottom leg a couple of inches off the floor. So it's super easy to lift it high. It's difficult to lift it just a few inches. So just play your edge. We take that foot back on the floor. 2 more like that. We breathe in, lift. Maybe you just lift your heel off the floor. So we're exploring in our practice. 1 more, we lift the foot a couple of inches off the floor, and you can step it all the way back into that high lunge with our twisted prayer. Steady breathing, so we activate that back leg. Again, you can expand. You can also just drop that bottom knee on the floor. Same benefits here. 2 more breaths. We take 1 more inhale. On an exhale, gaze towards that right foot. In 1 breath, we step that left foot to the right, and then we find our chair on the other side. Our chair position will come to the other side. Let me just change sides here. So breathing here. Let's bring our hands to our heart center. Full inhale, and take that right elbow outside the left knee. Those elbows are in 1 line. And we just gaze towards our toes. So we're gonna lift that right foot a couple of inches off the mat. And just take it back on the floor. We're just playing here in our practice. Again, maybe you just lift the heel, or again, try lifting that right foot a couple of inches off the mat and just drop it back down on the floor. So one more time, we lift that right foot, maybe step it to the back of your mat. Still breathing here, engage through that back heel, maybe expand the hands, finding that beautiful release in the lower abs. You can bring your hands back to the center. We'll gaze towards that left foot, and in one breath, step that right foot to the left. We find that chair position one last time as we draw our hands to heart center and fold forward. Shake out that head and split your feet hips distance apart. So peace fingers around those big toes. Finding that halfway lift, a beautiful long spine, collarbones spread wide. Then we soften our knees, elbows out to the side, crown of the head towards the floor. So those shoulders draw towards your hips. Take a deeper bend in your knees so the weight comes into the balls of the feet. You're blossoming through your pelvic region. Now engage that core, navel in and up towards the spine. So shake out that head. And let's take a big breath in through the nose. Just gently sigh it out. 2 more, we inhale. 1 more full breath in. Make some noise in your space. Now holding onto those toes, or we slide our hands underneath our feet. Toes towards those wrist creases. Maybe give the heel of your hands a little massage with your toes. Then we'll find that halfway lift. Elbows out to the side, crown of the head towards the floor. So honor those tight hamstrings, any lower back issues, bend those knees as much as you need to. Swallow a few times. Enjoying our breath. Take 1 more full inhale. We'll exhale it out. Gently release your hands. Maybe take a slightly wider stance, and we'll find our Malasana. So that squat, our hands come to the inside of our hands come together, our elbows are on the insides of our knees. The heels may be reaching towards the floor, they may touch the floor. So again, honor where you are, keep the posture safe. Our navel is engaged. So we'll release that right hand on the inside of the foot and extend that left hand high. And maybe explore taking that hand behind, find that inner wrist crease. Let me just face you guys. And we'll extend that the left hand back up and lower it down. Now we reach our right hand high, fingers spread wide. And then explore, maybe just taking that hand behind you. So the thumb reaches towards the floor. So the back of the hand is towards the back of the body and just finds that hip crease. 2 more breaths. We take 1 more inhale. On an exhale, we release the hand down to the floor. We have frogs again. We're only doing 10, not 25. Your inner thighs will thank me tomorrow morning. So draw those heels a little closer. We bend those knees, heels lift, and we fold over. So 10 of them. Yogi honor here. Those knees are bending over the feet, working those inner thighs. We have 5 more. Stay with it. We're working our core as well. Last 3, 2, on 1, we'll find our child's pose. Beautiful work this morning, everyone. So hips are heavy. Let's walk our hands forward and we'll come on to our elbows, our hands together in prayer, and we'll melt our heart down. So you can take the forehead to the floor, maybe bring it to a brick. Just let go of any control of that breath here. The belly's soft. Just slow everything down. And starting at the crown of the head, we weave back and forth, letting go of any tension. Allow those shoulders to slide down the back. Unhinge that jaw. Allow that belly to be relaxed. 2 more breaths. We'll take another full inhale. Exhale the air out. And let's just take our hands now alongside our body. So you're just wrapping them around towards your heels. Softening that chest. Feeling the breath on the back body. Taking 2 more breaths here. 1 more inhale. Let's let it go. And slowly transition. We'll come onto our hands and knees. Cross your ankles. And let's come onto our sits bones. So Nikki wanted some more abs. So we're going to, a couple of options here. We're going to bring our knees in and extend. You can always take your hands at your heart and hug everything in, or again, keeping it more gentle by supporting your hands behind your back as you extend. So we're breathing, squeezing, relaxing that jaw. Let's take 4 more. We squeeze in and lengthen. Take your time. Last 2. Last one, we breathe in, extend, and then just squeeze those knees in. We're going to wrap our hands around our legs. Draw your forehead to the tops of your knees. Feel the feet on the floor. Lick your lips. And we'll lift our head and setting up for Navasana. We're right here. So shins parallel to the floor. Reach the hands towards the top of your mat. Maybe extend those toes. Finding that breath at your belly. Cultivating that breath. Our heart is lifted. Open up those collarbones. 1 more breath here. Ankles crossed, hands by hips. We lift. And again, Navasana. So stay supported, extend, or play with reaching those big toes. 5 breaths here, that Ujjayi warrior breath. All the way to the belly. We cross opposite ankles. Nice. Hands by hips. We lift. Last set of Navasana. So again, Ujjayi breath. We're warming up our body. Try not to round that back. Our heart is lifted. Last 2 breaths here. And then we'll cross opposite ankle, lift the hips, and cycle through your vinyasa. High to low. Cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog. Pause and breathe. We'll lift that right leg high. Take the foot outside the right hand. And again, we'll just rock back and forth here. A few breaths. And an option to stay here with a straight back leg or just drop the knee on the earth. So we'll be here exploring some options in this posture for a couple of minutes. So again, you can stay here with straight arms. Find that brick halfway, or forearms for some of you. And after a few breaths exploring the outer edge of that front foot, that right foot. So listening to what your body wants this morning, you can add a little extra tension in that inner right knee. I bring that left hand towards my right ankle. Or if you want more of that quadricep stretch, we bend the left knee and reach that right hand behind, top of the foot. As we draw that heel in. And after a few breaths, reach the toes away from you. So you feel that stretch across the chest. So I'm going to bring that heel in one more time. And then press the toes away from me, opening up that chest. One more breath here. On an exhale, releasing that leg, we'll walk our foot across for Kappatasana. So pigeon, woo! In honor of Bill, the left toes reach behind us. And let's settle in here. So about 5 to 7 breaths. I like to rest my forehead on the tops of my hands. Our shoulders like to bunch up by our ears, so pull them away. And just notice everything that's connected to the floor. That left leg, the toenails, that bent right knee, your forearms, your head, the pressure of your head on the back of your hands. So that's supporting you here. As we just slowly allow those hips to open. So when we don't go into that full expression of the posture, our body's not clenched up. So we want to give it a little bit of breath so it can relax. And that's when the holdings that we don't even understand or know can loosen and let go. So exploring, doing a little less than maybe your ego wants you to do. Let's take one more breath here. Finish that exhalation. On an inhale, we'll lift our hearts, walk our hands back in, tuck those left toes under, find that high plank, and cycle through a vinyasa, or we'll just meet in downward dog. Eyes towards the back of the mat, shake out that head. On the other side, we lift that left leg high and take the left foot on a 45-degree angle outside that left hand. And again, just rock backwards and forwards, opening up our wrists and ankles here. And you can keep that back leg straight. I like to put my right knee on the earth. And again, we have those tall arms while the body slowly relaxes. Find that halfway point. Maybe go all the way down to the mat. And after a few breaths, we find the outer edge of that left foot. You can add a little extra tension, light tension, using that left hand on the inner knee. I bring my right hand towards my left foot. And for those that want to take a quadricep stretch on that right thigh, we bend that right knee. The left hand reaches behind, and we draw that heel in. Unhinge that jaw. And after a few breaths here, just reach those right toes away from you. You feel that expansion, that beautiful stretch in the chest. Then one more time, I'm going to bring that heel in. And then reach those toes away, feeling that chest stretch. And I'll release that right leg. We'll come back to center. And we'll find pigeon on the other side. So we just walk that left leg across our mat. Extend that right leg behind you. And the closer the heel is in towards our hips, the easier the posture. So if you don't feel anything, the more parallel this leg is, will just intensify the stretch. So soften those shoulders away from your ears. And we'll walk our hands forward. And taking the forehead to the tops of your hands. Allow the face to be soft. Maybe clean your teeth with your tongue. And again, notice if you're clenching in the body. We want to soften so the body can let go, to open, to free you up from those habitual, just life. Two more breaths. Take another full inhale. Let it go. We'll lift our hearts, walk our hands back in, right toes tucked under, step that left leg back into a high plank to low plank. Cobra or upward dog. We'll meet in downward dog, pause and breathe. We're gonna come onto our forearms, setting up for our dolphin. So a couple of options here. If you have a brick close by, you can always take the L's of your hands, your thumb and your forefinger, around the brick for stability. It's about the width of our shoulders. Again, our tendency is always to have our elbows to flare out. So we want to keep them in line with our shoulders. Just shake out that head. Just finding the breath melting through the heart, really rooting through those forearms. You can walk those feet maybe a little closer towards your elbows. And those that want to work on your balance can extend the right leg high. Can always kick up into a forearm plank. Or just be content again where you are. If you lifted up the right leg, please lift up the other leg. And we'll lower that leg back down. Keeping your hands where they are, walk your legs back. We'll find a forearm plank. So activate that belly, navel in and up towards the spine. 3 more breaths. And then slowly drop those knees. We'll take a child's pose between each one. So just drop the forehead to the floor. Maybe lick your lips. Slow down that breath. Then we'll take dolphin one more time. So a different setup, again, you can use the brick. Always an option here to interlace your fingers. So those elbows, again, are directly underneath our shoulders. We come onto the tops of our toes, and you walk your feet in till you find that resistance. Let go of any tension in the head or neck. Your neck likes to, or your head likes to look towards your hands, but shake out that head or neck. Root through the forearms. A beautiful shoulder strengthener here. Again, you can kick up into a forearm plank, or again, just lift the leg up. Maybe explore some hops, feeling that pause, that moment that you catch your balance. And after a few hops or lifting that right leg, just take the other leg up. Again, explore. Be playful in your practice. Challenge yourself. We'll lower that leg down. And one more time, keep your hands where they are. We walk our legs back, finding that plank, forearm plank pose. Upward dog in the chest. Navel is engaged. 3 more breaths. Last 2. And on 1, we'll find child's pose. Release those hands. Take a deep bend in those elbows and just rock your forehead side to side. And then we'll lift our hearts. And we're going to find an inversion coming into our plow this morning. So if you want to take your legs up the wall, please do. Headstand, if that's an option for you, come into that. Otherwise, let's do a beautiful middle back opener. So our legs are reaching up towards the sky. We lift our hips and our toes come up and over our head. We support our lower back. Very careful to not move our head or neck in this posture. Great pose here to stay supported. So we walk our hands down our back, breath by breath, as we slowly allow that back, middle back, upper back to open. So you can always take your legs up, or again, just here a few more breaths. Relaxing your jaw. And then take a deep bend in those knees. We squeeze our knees in towards our ears. And as slowly as you can, begin to unwind your spine. Take your time. And you can support underneath your hips here and reach those heels as they come all the way down towards the floor. And we'll gently bend both knees back into towards our chest. So give yourself a nice hug this morning. We'll rock our back body side to side. And we'll hang on to that right knee, left leg extends. And we'll take the knee across the body, right arm out to the side, and taking that eye gaze over the right shoulder, or just soften the eyes. Again, that internal vision. Just closing off some of that continuous stimulation that we get through our eyes. Maybe lick your lips, swallow a few times. And we'll roll back on our body, extend that right leg, shake it out. And then the left knee bends. And take that knee across the body, left arm extends. And after a few breaths, you can take your gaze over that opposite shoulder. Softening through that jaw. Rolling back on our back body, both knees hug in. Let's find our happy baby, reaching for the inner arches of our feet. Again, we rock our body side to side. And then pausing here in stillness. Keep the left leg bent and we'll extend that right leg. Stretching out those inner thighs. Maybe already feeling the frogs that we did earlier today. So we'll draw that right heel in and extend that opposite leg. And you can keep that left leg where it is. We'll just find a straddle, both legs extended. And we'll take our hands outside our shins, draw those legs together. And let's just shake everything out before we go into Shavasana. So we're getting rid of all of that static energy. Keep shaking. No one's watching you. Last 3, keep shaking 2, and on 1, just allow yourself to settle into your Shavasana, palms turned up towards the sky. We've got about a minute here, so welcoming the sound of silence. Feeling gravity as it pulls you towards the center of earth. Let the body be heavy. The yogis say Shavasana is one of the most difficult postures in all of the over 1,000 postures in the asanas. Just to let go. To allow the body to assimilate the postures that we explored this past hour. So taking 3 more breaths here. Final full inhale. We let it go. And find that next full incoming breath. Just gently sigh it out. Flutter your toes and fingers awake. Feel that stretch. And you'll hug those knees in and find your way to a comfortable seated position. So take your time. And one of my favorite quotes from Steve Jobs this morning: you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. So trusting that the dots that you are connecting in the future are the path that you should be on. So we'll bring our prayer to our heart, bowing our forehead to the tips of our fingers. We acknowledge our practice, this gift that we gave to ourselves, and let's seal it all in with one beautiful Om, the vibration of Om. Sip in the inhalation. Om. The light within me honors and recognizes the light within all of you. Make it a great day. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. We miss Bill. We put a mat out for Bill. We miss him, but Jason, nice. Hopefully you made some grunts so that we all felt that good. Bill was here in spirit.
It was good.